You join me in the holding area for the final race of today at the BRSCC MX-5 Championship. Charlie Burge starts in 4th place. Now don't forget, he had an issue with his bonnet in the previous race. That seems to be nicely secure. John Langridge, 3rd place. He's going to be looking to go forward. Brian Trott in 2nd. He's going to have a clear view in front of him as the cars go away, and he's got the inside line into the first corner. And championship leader and reigning champion Will Blackwell-Chambers on pole position. This is going to be an immense race. It's over to Jake Sanson to talk you through all of the action.
Brian Trott has never been better placed to take his first victory in the Mazda MX-5 Championship. Is this day going to come today? Will Blackwell-Chambers and Brian Trott on the front row of the grid from John Langridge and Charlie Burge. Adam Bessel and Oliver Allwood from Mike Comber and Sam Smith. The teammates on row 4. Martin Tolley and Lewis Cannon in the top 10 from Jack Brewer and Paul Bateman. Clive Poles and Teddy Clark on the 7th row from Jason Greatrex and Steve Foden. Harry Dean is alongside Will Hayden on the 9th row of the grid from Callum Greatrex and Marcus Bailey. Then it's John Pevig and Sebastian Fisher from Simon Orange and Paul Tucker, the winner of the B race in the 2nd of the races this weekend, from Adam Craig. Hector Hurst back in the A group, from Matt Pollard finally in the A group, and Charles Muggleston in there with him. Now this is going to be a tricky one. There's not as much standing water around the circuit, but it is still very slippery, very greasy, and there is threat of more rain during this 3rd and final encounter for the A group. The green flag flies at the back of the grid. The 5-second board goes up. When the lights extinguish, we'll be racing for the 3rd and final time in the A group of the Mazda MX-5 Championship at Silverstone. Let's make it happen! Cracking start from the front for Will Blackwell-Chambers. He's got a terrific getaway. Brian Trott is going to have to slot into 2nd place. John Langridge holding off Bessel well. Burge trying to get to the inside line and move into 4th place, as there's plenty of grip on that inside line actually. They're not too crazy and chaotic on the first lap at all. Comber and Smith being split by Martin Tolley there on the inside line as they run to Beckett's. Someone else in the mix there as well. I think that is Sebastian Fisher making a cracking good start, the 81. Sorry, no, that's 43, Lewis Cannon, the similar looking car, the black with the purple lines on it. Lewis Cannon making a good start in there along with, I think, Mike Comber. Whoops, off on the wet patch goes one of the Greatrexes. I'm guessing, looking through the grid, that is Jason, who was slightly in front of Callum on the grid. Down into the braking zone. Into Brooklands once again. 4 and 5, Bessel and Langridge continue to battle away for position as they continue to run through. This is going to be a really interesting tussle, and very nearly spun around there. That was the 96 of Charles Muggleston making some progress. He was very lucky not to get pitched into a spin there. Sam Smith up on the inside of Charlie Burge to try and move in behind Bessel, but Burge is carrying the speed round the outside of Woodcote. Sam Smith needing to make some progress. He doesn't want to lose as many points as he lost in the 2nd race to that man in the lead, Will Blackwell-Chambers, who's given himself a nice points advantage. Trott in 2nd, Langridge 3rd, Bessel, Smith and Burge. That's your top 6 at the moment. Langridge back on the tail of Brian Trott. Looks to the right-hand side. Wheel to wheel again with Brian Trott. Langridge has got good speed off Copse Corner. Through Maggots shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's not enough standing water to cause too much of a headache, and he's going to get through in a 2nd place here. Trott will try and carry a speed round the outside, but Bessel's going to have a move on the inside line himself. So Trott is going to drop potentially to 4th position. Bessel is a nose in front, but Trott's got the aerodynamic draft on the back of John Langridge. So Langridge through to 2nd behind Blackwell-Chambers, and Trott's through into 3rd. And look who's having a look as well, Sam Smith trying to move his way forward. Trott is going to be alongside Langridge. Trott back to the inside of John Langridge into 2nd position. Smith is going to get a run on the inside of Bessel. Is there going to be enough room for the pair of them to run together? Only just, as Mike Comber is struggling to get on the inside of Lewis Cannon and make his way back through onto the tail of Martin Tolley. Not the best of starts for him, but Will Blackwell-Chambers, look at this squabble. It means he has got a huge advantage as Sam Smith now dives up the inside of Bessel and gets into 4th position through Woodcote. So Sam Smith now chasing down after Brian Trott and John Langridge. 2nd and 3rd position, down to Copse Corner once more. But Blackwell-Chambers has got a good lead. Now, this does not mean he's going to run away and hide. Come on, this is Mazda MX-5 Championship racing. These guys will only work together for a few laps before they get back onto the tail of Blackwell-Chambers. But it's all about how you deal with that situation once you've been caught by the leaders again. So Blackwell-Chambers in the lead. 2nd is Brian Trott. Smith is going to try and get up the inside of Langridge. Goodness me, that was close, and through he goes. Bessel is going to get on the inside of Langridge as well, but John just wants to hold that line around the outside, and he has done so, and tucks back into Smith. Smith now gestures to Langridge, come on! Blackwell Chambers is getting away. Let's not duel for position anymore. Let's work together. Let's go and catch Trott. Let's go and catch Blackwell Chambers. That was the karting gesture from Sam Smith as he gesticulates the language behind, going, come on, let's stop mucking about. Let's stop dueling and let's go after the leader. So language waves to Sam Smith and says, okay, sounds like a good plan. Let's go and do it. Smith has run wide, very wide, very, very wide, and tucks back across for Luffield. So I think Language has got the message. He's going to try and work with Sam Smith and Brian Trott to close up on Blackwell Chambers. So we're not going to get too many overtaking moves, I would guess, in the next couple of laps between these three, but they are going to tag on to each other and start to get the deficit down to the leader, Blackwell Chambers, out in front. So Will Blackwell Chambers, reigning champion and championship leader, leads the way. Second is Trott. Third is now still that battle going on for fifth position, Bessel and Burge. I was going to say third is now Sam Smith in behind Brian Trott, ahead of John Langridge. Then it is Bessel, Burge, Comber. Looks like Lewis Cannon on the inside of Martin Tolley, and Jack Brewer is in there as well, the 93. So some good starts, some good positive races. There's a couple of drivers who have tumbled down the order. Oliver Allwood's not had a great start to his race, as he is now a long way down the order from where he started, in 6th position on the grid. So Oliver Allwood is going to have a very long race at the office by the look of things. John Langridge again on the back of Sam Smith with Bessel and Burge in company. Charlie Burge again having another crack at things from 4th on the grid originally. Now where is Oliver Allwood? I'm trying to pick out where he is. Can't see him anywhere. Has he had a spin somewhere that we didn't notice? Because Allwood, oh, that's very close for Orange. Door to door, leaning on there with the 81 of Fisher. That got very close for comfort. So now Smith is on the back of Trott, and those two are working together to close down the deficit to Blackwell Chambers. Smith is going to try and move out in front of Trott and start to get after the race leader. No resistance really from Trott, because Trott can slot back on behind Smith and they can start to use each other's slipstream to close up on Blackwell Chambers. Will Blackwell Chambers is basically breaking through the air in his own draft, in his own wake. So he's actually going to start losing time to these guys who will assist each other. So you may get some good slipstreaming and some good overtaking down the straight, but when they get through the corners, they'll start to settle themselves back into position, because they know that basically they're working in unison to get that gap down to Blackwell Chambers. It won't start tumbling down until they start really cooperating with each other. This is about when it'll start to happen. Let the three of them in unison, driving very carefully with each other. Langridge on the back of Trott, having to work the steering wheel very hard indeed to keep the car stopped on the apron. Look, Luffield, there's about 3 or 4 different racing lines. You can see 3 different lines there. One from Smith, one from Trott, and one from Langridge. They all had different ways of going about it, and all of them still very close together. But they are, crucially, not too far away from Blackwell Chambers. So whatever that plan was, it is starting to gain traction. Down a Copse Corner once again. Blackwell Chambers, Smith, Trott into Copse Corner with John Langridge. Look how hard he's having to work the steering wheel as the car starts to wobble and twitch through. Steve Foden up the inside of Lewis Cannon. He's making a good comeback after his pirouette in the earlier race. Lewis Cannon drifting out wide. I think we may be getting some more rain out on the circuit. It has started to rain again, and that means that the drivers are going to start losing a lot of grip, as Mike Comber started to make his beard up the inside to make an overtaking move. I didn't quite see who that was on, but what on earth has happened to the 63 of Oliver Allwood? He has just disappeared from the fray. I can't quite see where he's ended up. I think he's down at the back somewhere, unless he is out of this race, but I can't quite focus on the race leading battle and try and pick out where Oliver Allwood is further back. But it's definitely not gone well for Allwood in the third and final race, as Brewer is now right in there, tucked up behind this trio of cars he's racing with. Then Greytrex, then it's Pollard, and then we've got a nice little squabble going on further back. That is the 29 of Craig, who was on the podium in the B group earlier on, of course, and he's tussling away there with Simon Orange as they come off the turn. That's Foden and Cannon trying to run away from Brewer. So what is happening, crucially, what is happening with our man Oliver Allwood? Oh, he's out of the race, I'm told. So Allwood is out of the race on the first lap from 6th on the grid. So Allwood did not complete lap 1. I didn't even see what happened to him, but Allwood sadly out of this race. And that is a real shame, because of course he's one of the drivers trying to contest the championship fight. So that is not going to happen in this third and final race of the weekend, as Foden goes on the inside of Tolley. Foden trying to get through. Not quite able to get the run off the turn. Lewis Cannon was looking for that inside line and was not quite able to settle the car with enough fluidity out of the turn to line a car up for a move. Meanwhile, John Langridge is currently coping with the likes of Charlie Burge and Mike Comber, I think that is. There's Greatrex coming over the top of the brow. That is the 42 of Bateman, I think. And then we've got Fisher, and then we've got this lovely little tussle with several drivers in the mix. That's Paul Tucker, Clive Poles, John Pethick is in the mix there as well. Very close all the way down the order as the drivers are squabbling away. Fisher at the front of that little group, then it's the 65 of Will Hayden, Simon Orange, and behind them is the 29 of Adam Craig. Great battles in the midfield as much as there is at the front end of the field as well. Behind them is Callum Greatrex, the 34, and then I think we've still got that nice little tussle with several drivers in the mix further back. But in these wet and greasy conditions, it's still anyone's game to play for as Bateman chases after Jason Greatrex. Fisher, Hayden, Orange, Craig, Callum Greatrex. Great racing in the midfield, just as much as there is at the front, as Orange goes a little bit far over the curve there at Cobbs, and that's going to give Adam Craig a crack at the whip as they come down to the braking zone for Maggots. Down into the position. Can he find a way through on the inside? No, Simon Orange is a very crafty racer. He's not going to give that inside line up. So he holds on as they go through, and there's a chance for Craig to get back on terms with Orange on the exit as Callum Greatrex just sits and watches for an opportunistic moment. But they come back down the Wellington Straight once again. Great racing all the way through this field. It doesn't half make you want to get your ARDS licence. You can do that, of course, using the assistance of the Mazda MX-5 Championship. And up the inside, Orange is door-to-door with the 65. Oh, Will Hayden just about hanging on in there around the outside. The AB crew will be biting their nails down to the bone in the hope that he can hang on in front and also challenge for Sebastian Fischer just a couple of car lengths up the road. And they're not far in behind Bateman, but these guys still duelling for position. Some great tussles here at Silverstone. This national configuration circuit, so designed for Mazda MX-5 racing, in my opinion, even more so than the international configuration. This suits Mazda racing, the national circuit, because you've got such incredible fast sections through Copse Corner where you basically drop a gear but you're keeping so much speed carried through. Then down to Maggots and Beckett. You have to keep yourself on the throttle to the last possible moment. As you turn into Maggots, that's when you come on the brakes, and the car is already threatening to travel through the braking section, then coasting your way through Beckett, through the right-hander. You've got to hit the throttle halfway through the turn to get the most benefit out of it. Then down this long Wellington Straight as Langridge is trying to get past Adam Bessel. Pick your braking point nicely into Brooklands. Keep the car travelling through the apex as we ride on board with Langridge. You're very busy on the steering wheel through here. Watch through Luffield. Just following in there behind Bessel. Smooth running from Langridge, then back on the power, and then through Woodcote. You're flat on the throttle again. Now Langridge has got Bessel lined up. You've got a good exit out of Luffield. Is he going to make the move into Copse? He's definitely close enough. He's definitely in the slipstream, so he's going to charge across. No, he's not. He's going to work with Bessel to move further up the order. He doesn't want to settle for his position. Look how physical Copse Corner is. You're only dropping a gear at most. Oh, Bessel making a mistake on the way through. Maybe that was a blip of the throttle or something. And Langridge having to dive out to the right-hand side to avoid him, and that's going to set up an overtaking move as he now gets into Beckett. Langridge is going to move through onto the back of Brian Trott. He'll want to go from there, but Adam Bessel is trying to save the place. Langridge is still there. Bessel is still there. They've left each other just enough room, but I think Bessel's going to have better traction off the turn as they go down the Wellington Straight side by side under the bridge. Down to the braking zone again. Langridge trying to cut across on Bessel round the outside, but Bessel holds the inside for Brooklands. It's a slightly damper part of the circuit. Langridge is being drifted to, but he should hold the inside line for Luffield. This could be the moment Langridge has been waiting for. Bessel is around the outside. Langridge is through. The determination and steely nerve pays off, and Langridge is through. Well, that was tough, but he's through to fourth position now, in front of Bessel, in front of Comber. Is that spots of rain on the camera lens I see again? As the rain looks like it might be coming back in earnest. Blackwell, Chambers, Smith and Trott. 1, 2 and 3 in front of Langridge, Bessel, Comber and Charlie Burge. Oh, and a bit of a moment there from Bessel. He just locked up a tiny bit under braking. Either that or he hit a wet patch And now this is going to be a chance for Mike Comber to get on the inside, but Comber is challenging Bessel as Bessel is challenging Langridge. Charlie Burge is just hanging back just in case there's all sorts of melee down into Beckett's. Nothing of the like though. These three drivers very sporting as Bessel makes a very late bid to get on the inside of Langridge and drive out of the turn, but Langridge is going to use that outside line to his advantage, hold the place, and no problem at all for the moment. Blackwell Chambers leads. Smith second, Brian Trott in third for the Team Trott squad. Here's the move for Bessel on the inside of Langridge. Can he get through into fourth place? P4 in P4. Is he? Is he? Langridge still holding the car around the outside and again manages to save the place. Brilliant racing, and now Bessel drifts out sideways trying to hold on in front of Comber. The car drifted big time. Comber was a little bit cleaner through. He may get a run on Bessel now on the run to Copse Corner with Charlie Burge very close for company. So there they go again. Through Woodcote, down the main straight. Just keeping an eye on any signals from the pits. Not so much chatter at the moment as Charlie Burge is actually going to make the run on Comber. Thinks better of it. Comber drifts slightly wide through Copse. Catches the car before he loses the place, but that will compromise him on the exit. He's going to try and get back into the slipstream of Bessel. He uses that wide line to his advantage. He's able to gain a little bit of traction. There's Trott through in third, Langridge in fourth from Bessel, Comber and Charlie Burge. Further back, that eighth place battle is still currently being led by Lewis Cannon and Martin Tolley, duelling away there. On board with John Langridge once more. He's got a bit of a space between himself now and Bessel. Can he get onto the tail of Brian Trott? That's going to be the next key question. He's got time to do it. Not as much time as he'd like, admittedly, but he is still within a few laps of the flag, so he has got a little bit of time. Look, three completely different racing lines from the drivers behind John Langridge. Bessel, Comber and Charlie Burge all approaching those turns in a different manner. Bessel able to go slightly slower into the corner, but he drives faster out of it, and that's where he's able to gain a lot of his traction. So Bessel actually going for the long game. Look how close Smith has got now to Will Blackwell Chambers. He's right up behind him, he's right up alongside him. He's going to squeeze in on the inside for Copse, and he takes the lead. Sam Smith leads here in the third and final race of the weekend at Silverstone. He won race one, don't forget. He didn't have the best of runs in race two, slipped all the way back to 8th. So his fight back to the lead has been pretty exceptional in this third and final race of the weekend. But can he hang on in front of his main rival for the championship, Will Blackwell Chambers? Brian Trott is again going to have a perfect opportunity to capitalise if these two are going to get fisticuffs. They don't tend to very often. There's Martin Tolley, Steve Foden, Lewis Cannon, Jack Brewer and Jason Greatrex in the mix as well. So through Maggots and Beckett, back on the power, running out of laps here at Silverstone. But now that we're into the greasier section of the race weekend, this could get interesting as Smith drifts out slightly wide. Blackwell Chambers is back to the inside. This is the duel we wanted to see. The two title opponents dueling for victory, locked in mortal combat round the course. Out of Luffield, back on the power and skating through Woodcote. Blackwell Chambers has got Sam Smith well lined up. Spots of rain on the camera lens again. It's drizzly, but it's not as heavy as it was earlier on. Is he going to dive for the move? Or is Blackwell Chambers going to play the long game? It's obviously easier to chase than it is to be chased. He's going to let Sam Smith run out in the lead. He's fought to take the place back after a massive, massive deficit. He has got himself into the lead, but Will Blackwell Chambers deciding that discretion is the better part of valour, and he's going to wait on the back of Sam Smith. There are a couple of laps still to go, so he's going to pick his moment if he's going to go for the victory. Brian Trott in third place. The car always seems to come good in the latter stages, and I think that's because Brian Trott is just one of those racers who's very good at tyre management. He's really good at looking after the brakes, looking after the tyres. He's always got a very strong car at the end of races. Blackwell Chambers is going to dive for the inside. Smith is going to brake a little bit earlier into the course, and that's why he's caught Blackwell Chambers out. Blackwell Chambers drifts wide. Smith gets him on the undercut. That was beautiful tactics from Sam Smith. He just edged the car into the braking zone a little bit earlier, gave Blackwell Chambers that false sense of confidence. Will drifted out wide. Sam Smith got him straight back. Great dueling between these two, and that is going to give Sam Smith a massive grin on his face as we get into the closing stages of this third and final race of the weekend. I reckon we've got about 3 laps to go maximum as they come across the line. It may only be 2, in fact. We'll have to see as they come through, but Sam Smith taking a victory off Will Blackwell Chambers will definitely give him a little bit of pleasure as he waves the Will Blackwell Chambers down the straight. The banter between these two on and off the track is legendary, and Sam Smith waves the Blackwell Chambers as he goes up Cobb's corner. Bye-bye, Will, let's see what you've got. And Sam Smith out in the lead. Now that's going to give Will Blackwell Chambers a smirky grin and go, right, he's going to find an extra gear in that Mazda MX-5 from somewhere, and he's going to dive back to the inside. Here he goes again. Sam Smith trying to hold it to the outside. Blackwell Chambers is not going to fall for the same trick twice. Sam Smith cuts back across. Through left field they will go side by side, and Sam Smith again gets Blackwell Chambers on the undercut. Brilliant racing between these two. He gets back into first position. Brilliant driving from Smith, brilliant driving from Blackwell Chambers. Whoever wins this one will definitely have earned it. Again, Blackwell Chambers has got good speed out of Woodcote as we go into the last lap, and that's why I thought we might have had enough time for 3, but we only have time for 1. So here we go. Blackwell Chambers in behind Sam Smith, battling for the victory. It's a little bit drizzly out there. It's not heavy rain, but it might be enough to catch them out on this final tour. Brian Trott's still there in third position, but I think he has to accept that the victory will have to wait until Anglesey if he's going to get his first race win of the season. So Sam Smith in the back of Will Blackwell Chambers as they battle their way through. Blackwell Chambers is now trying to reel in Sam Smith once again. They're going to go side by side. Blackwell Chambers is going to be squeezed here by Sam Smith to the outside line. Smith will hold him at bay. They're both going to drift slightly wide, but Smith is going to hold the inside line crucially, and I'm not sure that Blackwell Chambers is going to get another chance. He's going to need a perfect slingshot out of left field. There's some absolutely amazing squabbles further back between Langridge, Charlie Burge and Mike Comber to the line. That's going to be an interesting one for 4th place, but Sam Smith makes it 2 wins out of 3 this weekend. A brilliant victory for Sam Smith in front of Will Blackwell Chambers, and that's what it means to Sam Smith. A jubilant race win from 8th place. He is absolutely ecstatic with that. Blackwell Chambers in 2nd, 3rd is Trott, 4th. I couldn't tell if that was Langridge or Burge as they came across the line. Burge has got his fist in the air. Did he beat Langridge to the flag? We'll have to check the result. There's a top 3 as normal. Burge is there, only just in front of John Langridge. Then Comber in 6th from Bessel. Tolley, Foden and Jason Greatrex. Race winner Sam Smith is the fastest lap of the race as well. Cannon is 11th from Brewer, Bateman, Fisher, Orange, Callum Greatrex, Dean, Poles, Pethick and Adam Craig in the top 20. And just out behind them is Will Hayden from Paul Tucker, Hector Hurst, Marcus Bailey, Matthew Pollard and Charles Moggleston, with only Teddy Clark and Oliver Allwood failing to make the flag. 24 points is the championship margin between Will Blackwell Chambers and Sam Smith as we head to Anglesey. Brian Trott in 3rd, ahead of Mike Comber, Oliver Allwood and John Langridge.
Sam, congratulations on your win. Some very interesting moves out there, especially the one taking the lead from Will.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the most deserved win I've had this season, and the others have been well deserved. So, yeah, I had him in my sights. My radar was locked on. I was hunting him down. So I was really happy with how I drove then. Very good.
Looked like he was trying to close you down in the last couple of laps, but you weren't having any of it.
Yeah, no, I just read what he was going to do before he was going to do it. So I've got quite a bit of experience from go-karting in the wet. So every time I saw his car go up the inside, I just went into the corner slower, knowing I could switch him back on the exit. The track was dry enough in the right areas. So, yeah, to beat the blue car in these conditions is not bad. So I'm really happy with that.
So you should be, and it certainly makes the top of the championship table a little bit more interesting going into the next round.
Yeah, I think Will's stretched the advantage on me slightly this weekend, but I'm on his heels and the pressure's still on, so he's hard to beat over a season. He's the most consistent driver out there and probably one of the best, so I'll push him all the way to the end if I can, but we'll see how we get on.
Well, congratulations once again. We'll look forward to seeing you next time out.
Cheers, thank you, cheers.
Will, you were working for that 2nd place out there. How was it knowing Sam was just a step ahead of you?
It's better when it's your teammate. It's nice that it's an MCR, all wins this weekend. But no, would have been nice to keep the lead. I think we had the pace, but Sam caught me up quite well. Once he got past, I was like, okay, I could have done that and that. But no, I'm really happy with 2nd. It's a great points haul, so I think we've still extended the lead in the championship. So overall, great weekend.
Yeah, so you should, coming out of this weekend at Silverstone, you should still be slightly ahead of him in the lead.
That, and I've also probably extended the lead even more, which is always the beneficial event in the weekend. Considering last time I left here, we had a bonnet fly up and we were in a B race. It's a hell of an improvement over last year.
Well, we can't say any more than congratulations on that, Will. Well done.
Cheers.
Brian, a hard-fought 3rd place for you, and really it was that opening lap that kind of let you down.
Yeah, but all through the race, really. I mean, I didn't quite have what I needed at one corner, and that cost me. It was as much as I could do to hang on, and I hoped once I let Sam through that I could tow back up to the leading, like right to the lead with Will. But yeah, it was unfortunate. But on the positive side, 3 podiums this weekend, 2 fastest laps, lots of good points for the championship.
Yeah, and it's all good for you, particularly from a Masters point of view as well. It's just sorry, bloody Formula 4 things. Yeah. Hang on a second. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. And from a Masters Championship point of view as well, just extending that lead even further, something you can move on to the next race with.
Well, I didn't qualify for the Masters at the start of the year, so I probably wouldn't be able to win that. However, since I've joined, I've had 12 wins and 12 fastest laps, so the other Masters have to pull their socks up a bit if they want to beat me.
We look forward to seeing you next time out. Thanks again, Brian.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up all of the action this weekend in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship from Silverstone.
Yeah, I hope you come back and join us for more jam-packed action over at Anglesey.